Hello everyone. Alright, so I wasn't planning on doing another build video today, but yesterday I was kind of doing the same thing that I did in my skyscraper build, where I was just flying around looking for a cool place to have a settlement, only this time I was in Nuka World, and I came across a really cool spot in Dry Rock Gulch. Now this is going to be set up just like my last video where I did a tour first and then go back and talk about how I built certain things. I've gotten a lot of great feedback so far from that last video, so if you guys like this layout better than me doing a full-on build, just let me know in the comments because doing it this way is much easier and quicker for me, and if the majority of you like this way better, then I could definitely do more videos throughout the week. So just let me know. If not, I totally don't have a problem taking you through a full build, which I would still do for certain builds like my sanctuary houses, for example. But anyways, yes, I am over at Dry Rock Gulch where we're going to get started over here by the roller coaster. So yeah, let's take a look. Pretty cool, yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so I'm using the Pocket Vehicles mod in workshop mode to fly around, which you don't have to have for this build. You could just walk up the roller coaster and then use Conquest to get your workshop up here, and then just build from there. But this was a really simple house build. I just started off by placing shack foundation and then snapping those all around. But on this side though, instead of snapping another shack foundation, I just snapped a normal floor piece and then used posts and cross beams from Workshop Rearranged for the support. I did that to change it up and give it a little bit more texture, but also because if I had used a shack foundation here, the posts underneath wouldn't have reached the mountain, so it would have just been like hovering there. So with the posts, I could just snap them on top of each other until they stuck through the mountain like so. And for the floors that are lower than the others, I just used the same method like in my Wanderer's house video, where I snapped the floor out, then lowered it, only this time I had to use Place Anywhere because the floor wasn't sitting on anything. And then I just snapped the posts from Workshop Rearranged because those posts are like slightly angled as opposed to being straight down like the shack foundation, and that again was just to change it up and make it look a little more realistic. And then yeah, I just used the shack foundations for the rest of it. So for the entryway, I used a bridge that snapped to the foundation and then snapped these stairs and basically everything else from there. This area was pretty simple. The only parts that I didn't snap were these floorboards, but those are pretty forgiving and easy to place down. And to make this floor look supported, all I did was snap the wall supports underneath it and then the post from there into the side of the mountain, which worked out perfectly. Alright, so on the inside, this was again pretty simple. I just used a mixture of walls that we already had and some others from the new mods that I'm using. Like these walls over here are from a mod called G2M, which someone posted a link to in my last video. I checked it out and it's really cool. I'll have a link to it in my description, plus I'll go over all the new mods I'm using in my next mod video, hopefully on Monday. But yeah, I didn't have to do anything fancy in here. Everything just snapped together. Of course, you have to be mindful of the build order. So if you have a wall or a roof that isn't snapping when it's supposed to be, just remove whatever is around where you're trying to snap it to. Like for example, I wanted this part to be very open because, I mean, look at that view. Who wouldn't, right? So I used half walls and then wanted posts from Workshop Rearranged on the ends to make it look more put together. I put the posts down first and then tried snapping in the walls, but they wouldn't snap, so I had to remove the posts, snap the walls down, and then the posts would snap on top of them. So yeah, it's all about the build order. But yeah, the doors out here snapped to the posts, so that was easy. I did have to use Place Anywhere for the chain link fences right there, just like in my Mechanist layer build. But then in the bedroom, everything was just as easy. All I did was snap a few walls up. But using a mixture of different walls with different textures really makes the place look realistic and come to life. Alright, running out of things to say, I hope it's not obvious. Let's take a look at this couch. I got this and a few other pieces that look really scrappy from the Thematic and Practical mod, which gives you these really cool looking pieces that actually make sense. This is the couch that is made out of stuff that could have been found while scavenging. And this shelf and coffee table over here are from a mod called Creative Clutter. This gives you a bunch of furniture and decorations that are filled up with junk to make your settlements look more lived in. But again, I'll go over all these in my next mod video. I just wanted to point them out because I figured a few people would ask where I got that stuff from. But yeah, as far as decorating, I try to make it look as realistic as possible. Like I didn't want to put an actual couch in here because how could he have carried a couch all the way up a roller coaster, you know? I know some items are still questionable in that regard, but I still wanted it to look cool without going overboard. I also used a good bit of Nuka World items because that's where we are, and I figured he would find a lot of stuff to use. Alright, and last thing I'm going to mention, because I know people are going to ask, I put the workbench over here across the way because I really didn't have a spot for it. So yeah, I just placed it over there, close by, that way I can get to it a little bit easier. But that's it for me, guys. I really hope you like this build. As always, let me know what you think, and I appreciate you guys watching. Any questions, please let me know in the comments. You can also take it a step further and follow me on Twitter. It's a little bit easier to get in touch with me, but I hope the music was a little better in this video. I've gotten a lot of complaints on the last one. It's just tough to find music that I can use. Like, I wish I could use Diamond City Radio, but I can't because the majority of those songs are copyrighted. But I am working on it, so just bear with me. But anyways, please give this video a like, and I hope you have a good weekend.